Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Imperial Guard list review. Today's list was sent in by Patreon supporter Darian Gaffy. Apologies if I'm butchering that name, Darian. But before I get into it, I want to say super huge thank you for being a Patreon supporter. It absolutely makes a huge difference. I'm not just saying that, I'm not just paying you lip service. I genuinely, I really mean it. Support from my Patreon people, like Darian, has really improved the channel. I hope you guys have been able to see the improvements. We've gone from having my old battered Mordians on the table being filmed with my old mobile phone to now we have a proper camera, we've got proper terrain, we've got proper painted armies that are going to be hitting the channel soon. Steel Legion are on their way, guys, and also the Black Tide, of course. Both of those armies were subsidised, not entirely bought with. I obviously put my own money into this. Patreon just helps ease that burden a little bit, and yeah, two brand new armies which are going to be hitting the table. I've got lots of pain to do with the Black Tide, but the Steel Legion are on their way. Wanted to get a couple of battle reports in with them, not being able to just with scheduling, but the Steel Legion are going to be hitting the battlefield very soon, and it's only thanks to support from people like Darian that is even possible. So I just want to say, absolute bottom of my heart, super sincere thank you. So now that I've said my piece, let's get on to the list review. So this is a 500 point list, so it's a pretty small one, but it is for a doubles tournament. But the interesting thing is that Darian has said that you don't know who your partner is going to be in the doubles tournament until you get there. Okay? So you don't know your partner until the day. Now that's interesting because that makes it kind of difficult to tailor a list for a specific role. So when I've been to team tournaments before, especially doubles tournaments, I've often gone with, I've said to my partner, right, I'm going to take all the infantry and have all the bodies, and it's your job to take all the DAC and all the firepower. And that works. But if you don't know who your partner's going to be, it's difficult to do that, because you might end up partnering with someone else who's had exactly the same idea, and you've got two armies with lots of bodies but not a lot of firepower. So generally thinking, before I've even really read this list, I'm going to recommend that you sort of have a take all comers list. So without further ado, let's take a look. So it is 500 points. The army is the 1st Valoyan Infantry Regiment, 1st Platoon Veteran Scout Group, aka they have the Cadian Regiment trait. Okay, cool. The detachment is a Vanguard detachment. Interesting. So you have 4 command points in total. Now, your HQ is a company commander, and you've given him a power fist. So your warlord trait is superior tactical training, and the relic is Kurov's Aquila. Right. Okay. Now, straight off the bat, I'm going to say you don't want the power fist. This is 500 points we're talking about. There isn't really room for upgrades like that. You kind of need to squeeze every single point. And having a power fist on your officer, it's not great. It's just not worth it. Not for 8 points. Okay. Now, likewise, looking at your infantry units, you've gone for 2 infantry squads, one with Voxcaster and Las Cannon, and one with Voxcaster and Plasma Gun. You don't want Voxcasters in those squads, okay? You don't want Voxcasters at 500 points, because I'm going to be absolutely honest with you. You're not going to be far enough away. You're going to have you're going to want to keep all your stuff together anyway. It's another 15 points, if not more. Looking at it's another 20 points, I believe, in total. And that's in total. That's 28 points we've already saved. So, it's interesting. Now, you've got a las cannon in one squad and a plasma gun in another squad. I don't know if you're limited model wise, but I wouldn't. You know, I would take las cannons and plasma guns in both squads, if that makes sense. I don't think. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's a bit weird having a las cannon one and a plasma gun in another. Does that make sense? You either want to have both in a squad or neither, really. So yeah, maybe we'll get to the end and we'll see how many points we can save, and then we'll see what weapons we can buy you. So now, obviously, I don't know if you're limited by your collection, but if you are, that's fair enough. But I'll make suggestions based on the fact that I assume you have a few extra models than 500 points. Now, your elite section, you've got 1, 2, 3 squads of veterans. So the first one has got a Voxcaster, which we've already binned, and it's got a las cannon and a plasma gun. The second squad, veterans, has a heavy bolter. Our third squad has a bolt pistol, a plasma gun, a grenade launcher, and a power sword. It's a real mixed match of units. There's not a lot of. We've talked about this concept. I don't know if you've seen my one of my videos. There's this concept of homogenization. Okay, when you're in a tournament, even a 500-point double tournament, a low level one, you don't really have time to be trying to remember that this squad's got a melter gun and a bolt pistol, and this sergeant's called Murphy and this private's called Jenkins. You don't really have time to remember that. You've got to be snap, bam, 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 getting those dice rolling, hitting your opponent hard. You don't want to. You need to be able to keep things clear cut, not just for your opponent who's going to be struggling to remember what all your units have got, which is common courtesy, but for yourself. Okay, you don't want to be umming and ahhing. What if you make a mistake? What if you think that's you're not really concentrating? You think the squad's got a las cannon, you shoot at a vehicle. Oh, it was an autocannon, wrong target. It can happen. So, looking at the list, you really need to get a sense of homogenization. Okay? Now, what I mean by this is your infantry squads, for example. Really, you want to be taking those with heavy bolter and plasma guns. The reason you want to take heavy bolter and plasma guns is because heavy bolter, 3 shots, so on a ballistic skill 4+ model, you've got more chance of hitting with the shots. And plasma guns, because plasma guns work really well in infantry squads because they're cheap, they're only 7 points. And your veteran squads, you want to be taking things like las cannons in them, because if you put a las cannon in a veteran squad or you put a las cannon in infantry squad, it doesn't matter. The points are the same, so you might as well have that las cannon hitting on the 3+ in the veteran squad. So you want to be putting las cannons in all your veteran squads, and then you want to be buying them things like sniper rifles or grenade launchers, because the reason for this is veterans pay a premium for elite weapon systems. We've talked about this in the basic weapon systems video. They pay 13 points for plasma, they pay 17 points for melter. So in a 500-point tournament, you can't really be affording to be spending 13 points on a plasma gun. But when you could spend 12 points on a plasma gun and a grenade launcher, and you can give one plasma gun to your infantry squad and a grenade launcher to your veteran squad. So really, you want to be taking grenade launcher, las cannon on your veterans, or grenade launcher auto cannon, because it is only a 500-point tournament after all. And you want to be taking like plasma gun, heavy bolter on your infantry squads. That will be cheaper overall than what you've paid. Okay. Now, you've then got a company command squad, and you've got a regimental standard, a Voxcaster, and a sniper. Okay, now, again, you don't want the Voxcaster. Okay, you want the regimental standard, that's good, and you want the sniper. The only problem I can foresee here is you've only got the one company command squad, which means it'd be relatively hard, because you've got 50 infantry, it looks like here. it's going to be relatively hard for you to keep all your infantry around your 1 regimental standard, and it's going to be relatively easy for your opponent to kill it and get rid of your +1 leadership. So instead, you kind of want to be looking at 2 regimental standards. Okay, my preferred loadout in this edition is a combination of being able to do damage and being cheap. So I go autocannon, sniper, and regimental standard. I don't expect a lot of damage to be done by that squad. I don't expect a lot of damage to be done at all, but it does allow the squad to plink away from a 48-inch range, which can keep it safe. Now, you've then got a squad of Weird Vein Psychers. Just drop those. Okay, straight away, Weird Vein Psychers are useless. Absolutely 100% useless. We don't want to bother with those at all. For 6 points more, get yourself an Astropath and basically get yourself a unit that will actually do something. So, but in general, I don't think you're going to want to bother with Weird Veins because, to be absolutely honest with you, 1, they're terrible, and 2, those 500 points you kind of need to sort of specialise, and you're not going to be facing a lot of Psychers at 500 points. At most, you'll be facing like 2 Psychers. Like probably each general will have a Psych. If you face Chaos, you might face a Sorcerer, for example. You might face like You're not going to face Magnus. You just not, if someone, I don't think it'd be physically possible, but if someone did bring Magnus, then just don't play them. Okay, just forget that. If you ask, Magnus probably wouldn't even do all that well because you've got 50 infantry and your opponent. I think it'd be hard for your opponent if all he brought was Magnus. No. So drop the Word Veins. Don't worry about denying things. You're only going to take a few with 50 bodies on the board at 500 points. Plus whatever your opponent brings table, Smite is not going to be a big issue for you to deal with. Heavy support, you've taken 2 mortar teams and a heavy bolter in a heavy weapons team. Okay, again, this is a mix match. Why have you taken 2 mortars and a heavy bolter? Just take 3 mortars, okay? Look, I like the idea of what you've gone for, but there's a few key problems. Number 1, there's no standardization across the list, no homogenization. And number 2, you could easily be taking a battalion. I don't really know why you're taking a. I don't really understand why you're taking where you're forcing yourself to take a vanguard. I guess you want 3 squads of veterans, a company command squad, and a Word Vein and your Word Vein Psychers. But it's like it just doesn't work for me. I think you'd be better off. Honestly, I think you'd be better off taking a battalion. Because that's 6 command points. One of the biggest and best things about Imperial Guard is the fact that we can get command points really easily. You want to take advantage of that. Now, look, I don't know what your model capabilities are, but I'm going to build you right now here. So listen carefully, because I'm probably not going to write this down. I will link to your list though. I'm going to build you a quick 500 point list. Okay, and I'm going to try and I'm going to be basing it on the fact that you've gone for Cadian, and on the fact that you have gone for a pure infantry army, both of which I think are really good. Okay, so you're going to take a battalion, you're going to take a company commander, and then you're going to take another company commander. Okay, you're then going to take 3 squads of infantry, and each squad of infantry you're going to equip with a plasma gun and a heavy bolter. Okay. So that is, so far, 225 points. Now you need to get some veterans in there. I can tell you like your veteran squads. So let's get some veterans on the field, alright? You're going to take 2 squads of veterans for 95 points each. Okay, which leaves you with 415 points, right? Now you're then going to... So the only thing you're missing in terms of numbers right now is a company command squad, your Word Vein Psychers, and your heavy support team. We're going to add the company command squad in there now because I still think it's important to have at least 1. Okay, but you're going to have to accept the fact that morale might be a bit of an issue for you. So you're going to take a company command squad, which is 24 points. You're going to give it an autocannon, you're going to give it a sniper, and you're going to give it a regimental standard. Okay? Now the last thing that you are going to take is your heavy support squad. Okay? So that is 18 plus 15. Because you're going to take 3 mortars. Okay? Now what you have there is a nice balanced list, and you've got 9 points left over. So if you really want to, I don't recommend it, but if you really want to, you could take some fluff upgrades for your characters. If you really want that power fist, I've still left you enough points to do that. Okay, so what you're taking is 3 squads of infantry, 2 squads of veterans, and a command squad and a heavy weapon team, which brings you to 60 infantry and 2 company commanders. That gives you, as well, I should mention, that gives you access to 4 orders. Okay, now potentially that's 5 orders if you use inspired tactics. Now guess what? You've got 6 command points now, so you can easily do inspired tactics for several turns. Also, if you take superior tactical training, as you have done for your warlord trait, then that means you have the potential to issue some extra orders, admittedly the same order, for free, for nothing. So you have that covers all your bases. It means you've definitely got enough orders to order around your important units, which are your 3 infantry squads and your 2 veteran squads. You also, thanks to superior tactical training, you might be able to get a cheeky order off on your company command squad, and you might be able to get a cheeky order off on your heavy support team. Okay, now there is ways to potentially improve that list that I came up with. That was based on the classic formula of sort of las cannon grenade launchers, plasma gun heavy bolters. You know, those things working together. There is a way potentially to improve this list again. I'm going to give you another 500 point example. Okay? This is going to go really based on, it's more theory craft, and it's going to be basically making the Cadian regimental doctrine work over time. We're going to be really banking on the fact you're going to be using lots of rerolls. Okay? And we're going to go for basically autocannon spam. Okay, we're going to try and go for as many autocannons as we can get our hands on. So, what you want to do is you want to start off with your infantry. Now, we're going to take an infantry squad. We're going to give it, let's start again, infantry squad. We're going to give it an autocannon and a plasma gun. Okay? And we're going to take 3 of those. And then we're going to take a veteran squad and give it an autocannon and 3 grenade launchers. So that's 60 plus 15, 75 plus 12, that's 87 points. I'm going to take 3 of those as well. Okay? And then we're going to take 2 company commanders. Right? And that is 498 points. And you could give either your 2 company commanders bolt guns, or you could give some sergeants some bolt guns. And the sort of the principle behind this is the fact that yes, you haven't got any las cannons, but you do have 6 autocannons. And if you're going to be staying still, you can take advantage of the fact that you'll actually be able to hit more often with your autocannons because you'll be re-rolling all hits. So that's really, important to note. If you wanted to, you could drop all your grenade launchers down to sniper rifles. Okay, which would give you an extra 29 points. And you could spend that 29 points on taking a Lord Commissar instead. And the reason you would do that is to improve your leadership. So there you go. I prefer the first list. It's got a bit more variety, a bit more flavour to it. And I see what you're trying to do, but just, if you haven't really followed exactly what I'm saying, or you don't 100% agree with it, these are the 2 key lessons you want to take away. 1, your list is kind of all over the place. You've not got any homogenization. You've not got any standardization. That's bad for you and it's bad for your opponent. And 2, you really want to be getting more command points in there if possible. You want to have standardization and you want to be able to have more command points than anybody else. Okay? So, I hope this video has been useful. I hope you found it informative. Please, if anyone else has any suggestions for the list, please leave lots of comments and hopefully we can get a really nice 500 point list together for Darian. Once again, Darian, thank you for sending the list in. Thank you for your support. I hope you've enjoyed the video and of course, I'll see you next time.